The free $20,000 MLB 10 Runs for Free Cash contest is now live at SBRforum.com. What is the contest? It's simple. Each day in a designated SBR Forum post, you pick one team that you think will score 10 or more runs that day. You qualify to win $100 that day if you are correct. Each day the game continues, you pick another team. And every time your team scores 10 runs, you'll be adding onto your total score. The contest is split into 3 segments, and at the end of each segment, the top scorers split $2,500. And at the conclusion of the contest, there's even more cash up for grabs, in total over $20,000. And I know what you're thinking. You can just pick the Yankees every day and win. No, you can only pick the same team once per week. Check out the link in the description for more info and see you in the SBR Forum for the contest.
Folks, welcome into SportsBookReview.com. It's Thursday, and it's time to talk some Major League Baseball. We got some afternoon games. We got some night games to talk about. Yeah, there's an NFL game tonight, but Major League Baseball is still taking center stage right here at SportsBookReview.com. I'm Donnie Seymour along with Jason Radowitz and Kyle Purviance. We are the SportsBookReview.com Major League Baseball team. Value plays, McDonald's. Yep, we got that covered last night. The Dodgers hit it up for me, but my odds boost went up in flames with the White Sox. Not even showing up yesterday, but made money overall yesterday. That's the name of the game. Jason, how you doing today on a Thursday?
Yeah, so look, the Braves, they did push my wager of over 2 in the first 5. The show was a 2.5, so we're going to take that loss. And, I'm assuming more people went on and took Kyle's pick, and that cash, I'll get on with that in a second. But did that odds boost, hit the value play earlier in the day, and I woke up today to see that DraftKings now has same game parlays. They're just like MGM. They're just like FanDuel. Now they have their same game parlays in DraftKings. So pretty awesome stuff there from DraftKings. I know Kyle has something to say about that.
Kyle has a lot to say about that. And by the way, we like to talk odds boosts a lot. And, in our little Slack chat behind the scenes, I mean, look, if you guys want to be out there in business with odds boosts, give us something to chew on, because there's a couple out there today. Little, as we like to say, Kyle, some fugazi boosts on the horizon.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. I don't understand the odds boost today. There is one I sort of like, but we hit it last night. I finally got a damn odds boost to hit last night with Scherzer and the Dodgers. Of course, the play of the day, the Braves over 4.5. The one loss, and I'll have to apologize to our friend Oregon Ayan, something like that, who gave me crap for the White Sox. I said they were crazy. Well, the White Sox stunk and they lost it up. But overall, good night. The under strikeout prop hit. 3 in one night. We'll take it. We're eating good, and thank you for all the kind words out in the chat box.
No, certainly. And by the way, the odds boost I'm talking about here, BetMGM, the Cowboys to score the first touchdown goes from minus, and this is their Lions boost. Like, this isn't just like, hey, here's a bet to make. This is their boost of the day, minus 112 to plus 100. I said, it's got to be an error on that stuff. You got to, like, a Lions boost should be at least like 70, 80, 90, or $1 at least boosted up. So the fact that they're offering that plus 100, welcome to football season, people. And maybe they're saying, Kyle and Jason, this is the reason why you don't bet preseason football. So it is what it is at that point here. But we do appreciate everybody here in the chat box already early on this day. As you see, sportsbooker.com. You saw Lee explain that video there, $20,000 up for grabs. It's a great time to be alive in the sports field, because we're getting kicked off with NFL football coverage. NCAA football. Was watching the UFC show a little bit earlier. Soccer kicking off. Everything you need is right here on the channels at sportsbookreview.com. And how about this? 87,300 people have hit that subscribe button. Let's raise that up by another 100 tomorrow. Whatever we do, hey, we come on the air, it's free. We have a lot of fun, but our goal is to make you guys more money and build up that chat box where you can come in here in a safe space and get yelled at by Kyle and also get knowledge at the same time. We got some afternoon Major League Baseball on the card. As I'm watching those Mets, Jason, here, and I take a look, nothing new here. And if you're betting Mets pre-game, you pretty much get what you deserve at this point, because there seems to be value each and every day late in the innings with those Mets. 1-1 right now. If we're looking from a live line perspective, Marlins at a plus 116 number. Also, how about this? The Tigers jumping up on the Boston Red Sox 3-0, and just underway, the Angels and the Rangers. Jason, I'll start with you first. Any looks or any thoughts on these early games on the card today?
Yeah, I've got nothing. I do expect the Mets to end up winning this game. They need a split against the Marlins. They're still a first-place team. They still need to play as like a first place team. So I do think that they'll push out with the win here. Let's not forget though, Diaz not in, does have paternity. He's on paternity leave, so he won't be closing if the Mets need a closer in this game. Some will say it doesn't matter. Some will say it does. So anyway, yeah, the Mets are the Mets. They're going to do Mets things, but I do think they'll end up winning this game if you want to put a live wager there. Looking at this Red Sox Tigers game, we talked about this. I said, yesterday, the Red Sox, they might be falling apart just a little bit, and that'll give room for the Yankees to get into the playoffs. That could be what's in the cards these next 50 days in the MLB. The Yankees could start to do some damage, and the Red Sox can start to falter and fall off. The Angels-Rangers game, of course, really bad pitching matchup, but also a terrible offensive matchup as well. So that was a really hard one to cap, and we know that Howard only going to go 3 innings in this game. Makes it even tougher because you're going to have to go up against an entire bullpen. Not saying the bullpen's any good. It's just harder to know who's going to be pitching at what times during the game.
Yeah, Boston better get it together here because you're looking at some talented teams in the AL East, 3-0 here. And I know Kyle probably has a good comment here that a pitcher going on paternity leave here. So have at it, Kyle.
Yeah, exactly. Pitcher on paternity leave. I mean, how many days do you really need? You only pitch once a damn week. I mean, take a few days
Isn't
off.
Isn't that what Skype is for?
Yeah, exactly. Can't you just zoom it in? And plus, what is with these guys? Don't you know how it's done? You take that time away, especially when the baby's new. You get all the sleep and let the wife be miserable. You got to treat them mean to keep them keen just a little bit. That's life advice for all you youngsters out there.
Yeah, I remember when Battlefield had come out with a new game right around the time I had my daughter. My wife's like, this isn't a vacation for you. You actually help out. I'm like, oh, I do? What? I thought I'd just stay home and hang out here in the basement and play my games at this point. So it is what it is on that. But some early afternoon action. I don't have any, I wasn't really feeling the Mets-Marlins game. Obviously, I do think, the Red Sox should be winning because they're anticipated a better baseball team than the Tigers. But that Angels-Rangers game, you just look at it and you're like, thank goodness it's in the afternoon and we got to do a show while it's on because that's certainly not something that I would be paying attention to on my TV today. But let's get into the card today, have some fun, see if we can find some winners out here right away at 3:10. How about last night's game? You get a quick start there and then an absolutely dead finish in Colorado where nobody could score any runs. So here we are back at it today. Senzatella versus Arrieta. 150s to 158s across the board. 11.5s again as a total out there in the thin air of Colorado. Any thoughts on this game to lead off here between the Chicago Cubs and the Colorado Rockies, Jason?
Yeah, Arrieta really hasn't been that terrible recently. Obviously, he's just coming back and hasn't faced too many batters, but 3.95 xFIP, 21.2% strikeouts, and we know that he's capable of getting a high amount of ground balls. This is a Rockies lineup. They're hitting about 45% of ground balls to begin with. Their ISO not that high. Weight OBA also not high, and they're also striking out nearly 25% of the time. This is a spot where maybe Arrieta performs a little bit. You're going up against the Rockies. You're obviously on the road, so it doesn't really help. But then you go to the Cubs, of course. Their offense looks awful as well. So Senzatella has also been not so bad either. 3.54 xFIP, walking just 3.8% of batters. This is a spot where maybe the under is the play, even in Colorado. Two offenses that really just are kind of depleted at this point. The Rockies probably should have, traded more guys by the deadline. They didn't, but still, the offense has been awful throughout the entire season. So I think the under would be the play in this game, but it's a tough one. It's hard. Both these pitchers, they've had their ups and downs throughout the year, but they're both kind of trending in the right direction currently.
Yeah, I think Senzatella is the better pitcher in this one over the last 30 days. Of 3.54 xFIP has some decent numbers to both lefties and righties with their weighted on base average. But this is quite a stark contrast, Kyle, from what we were seeing even 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago from the Chicago Cubs lineup. You look up and down like, boy, what happened to a big market team where it's basically everybody is sold off at this point and not really much to show for it, and you're still hanging an 11.5. Now, keep in mind also out in Colorado today, about 90 degrees at first pitch here, 4-mile-an-hour wind, so no real effect from that way. We should get runs here just because it's Colorado, but that's not necessarily the case with these lineups today for me.
Exactly, and you touched on it beautifully. So when you look at the Cubs lineup, it's a who's who of nobodies, right? I mean, it's a AAA. There's a AAA lineup in Jason Hayward, right? I mean, it's absolutely pathetic. The problem is, look, Arrieta, let's go over his fantasy totals, his last 3 starts. 2, -4, and 15. His last 3 starts against the Rockies, nothing more than 22. Senzatella has actually been pretty solid, and one thing I like about him, now, he's gotten crushed by the Cubs, -3 and 0, but this is a different Cubs lineup than he was facing before. And in his last 4 starts, he has nothing fewer than 25 fantasy points. He's been really, really solid. That, of course, is on FanDuel scoring. So I just want to say on the DFS side, Senzatala is 5,700 on FanDuel. That's too cheap. And you have a high upside there. If he gets you to 25, you get 5x in baseball. That's money, and it really allows you to pay up for some of these premium lineups against bad pitchers today. So I love Antonio Senzatala on DFS. In terms of the game, I do lean the Rockies here. It's juiced up. They're at home. You never want to bet the Rockies on the road. Minus 0.5 in the first 5 at minus 105 makes a lot of sense to me. Team totals here a little difficult. I mean, they've got 5.5 and 6. Do you trust either of these teams to get to that total? I know the weather is hot in Colorado. Hitting conditions are prime in Colorado, but how many times have we seen it when it's 2 bad pitchers, warm, hot weather in Colorado and the game's 3-2, you know? So I'm not trusting any of the team totals there. My lean would be to the Rockies in the first 5 innings. You never want to rely on that Colorado bullpen. It's very, very bad as a team. They have the second worst team ERA bullpen in baseball, just barely ahead of those Arizona Diamondbacks in the same division. So for me, minus 0.5 in the first 5 for the Rockies, minus 105 is a fair price. It's a nice price, near even money. And Senzatala in DFS, cheap value pitcher if you're playing DraftKings or FanDuel.
No, there you go. And look, it's not a great game, but the reason why I want to bring it up is because it's at 3:07, so we want to delay. I'm like, hey, you guys didn't get to the Cubs-Rockies game. Well, we got to it there. We don't have much support behind it here actually betting it, but it is what it is. Let's flip it down to the Mariners and the Yankees, something a little bit more palatable here as we take a look at the Yankees matching up versus a lefty, but buyer beware in this one. Marlins are a good baseball team, number one, still trying to find their way to the playoffs after the heartbreak and sleepless in Seattle, basically, of what they had since giving up Kendall Graveman. Seems like they've righted that ship, and now they head towards Yankee Stadium in a hot Yankees lineup that likes to get after left-handed pitching. But taking a look at Anderson today, after his game on June the 15th, 6 innings, 6 earned runs. Look at this. 6 2/3, 3 earned runs, 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 7 innings, no earned runs, 5 innings, 2 earned, 6 innings, 3 earned, 5 1/3, 3 earned. So giving you quality starts each and every time out, which you would hope where the Yankees maybe would dot him up over the 5 to 6 innings and then sort of cruise over towards the bullpen. I do like this game, and I do have a circled play here on the Yankees 4.5. A little bit expensive at minus 160. Would have liked to seen that more in that 140 range, but you're going to pay a heavy premium price to get those runs. Do I think the Yankees could get it versus a lefty? I do. Reason being, look at the weighted on base averages for the Yankees over the past 30 days versus lefties here. Outside of, Joey Gallo and Gary Sanchez, everybody else has elevated high weighted on base averages. I do think the Yankees hit, and I do think they have a great shot at getting their team total by getting to 5 runs. They just had double digits back-to-back nights. That's where I'm going in this game, Jason. What do you think in between these two?
Yeah, look, I agree. And, we talked about this the other day. Going up against the lefty, the Yankees do really well. They did that against the Orioles, and of course, they scored a ton of runs in that game. And we picked the Yankees at the perfect spot. This is the same thing. It's just not as much of a can, like Donnie was talking about, as we got 2 days ago against Alexander Wells. This is Anderson, 4.86 xFIP, 16.2% strikeouts. But the thing is, he's walking just to 1.5% of batters in the last 30 days. That's the difference, because the Yankees, they're walking 15.1% of the time, and Anderson just walking 1.5% of the batters. So if they're not walking, their weighted OBAs, they go down for the Yankees. However, if Anderson does start walking some more batters and the Yankees stay patient and they're able to work out walks, Anderson's going to have a worse day and probably allow more than 3 runs in the first 5 innings and not have a quality start against this Yankees lineup. So a lot to dive into this game. I like the Yankees in the first 5 over 3. I'm seeing that at plus 100 right now. I like that play. I think if you go 3.5, I think that's a little bit too much. I'd rather get that push if they can get 3, because the reality is Anderson, 3 runs, 2 runs, 0 runs, 2 runs, 3 runs, 6 runs of bad start, but 2, 3 runs. So he's not really allowing more than 3 runs. But the Yankees lineup, they're more than capable of scoring 4 or more runs against Anderson. But I want that 3 number, and then once I get 4, I could be happy with it, but I'm not going to be panicking if they have 3 in the 5th inning and they don't score that extra run.
No, I hear you on that one. I do like the Yankees now. I do think they hit. Somebody in the chat box brought it up where they don't really hit all that well. Look, trust me, the Yankees have not been on my card very much because when they go up against a right-handed pitcher, it seems like nothing makes sense. But every time you see a lefty on the mound, it's usually something to dip into. And it's always nice to ride some momentum in some hot baseball teams because in that locker room, they're not like, 1 run yesterday, we can't do anything about it. That's back-to-back games with double digits. So they're looking to get after it. And what a move here. Joey Gallo hasn't been very good so far, but Anthony Rizzo has been absolutely on fire for this club. We'll see what happens in the game tonight. Kyle, your thoughts here between the Mariners and the Yanks?
Well, there should be runs, right? I mean, these are two bad pitchers, Anderson, obviously, and then you got Nestor Bob Marley Cortez. And he's not very good either. The one thing that kind of stood out to me in this game, I do understand that the Mariners struggle in New York. Abel astutely put it in the chat box, 1-8 in their last 9 games in New York. That's not a good look. But the Mariners are always live dogs. They are the most disrespected team on the books. I love taking the Mariners at plus money. You got a weighted 3-year OPS Cortez versus this Mariners lineup of 916. And if you actually look at Anderson, it's a 696. So the Mariners actually profile a little bit better if you take a 3-year sample size, better than the Yankees do. You can get them on the money line in the first 5 innings at plus 165. I mean, look, did I put money on that? No. But if I was going to bet this game, I think the Mariners team total over 4 is absolutely live in this game. I think they should be able to get after Cortez early. Plus 165 on the money line in the first 5 against a Yankees team who we know sometimes, actually not sometimes, oftentimes struggle to score in those first 5 innings. I think the Mariners are a live dog here. I'd take a sprinkle on that plus money in the first 5 innings. And I also don't mind a sprinkle on that Mariners team total over 4. And if you're looking for a contrarian DFS lineup, the Seattle Mariners are going to be a low-owned, cheaper stack. Guys like Seager, Haniger, France, Crawford, they should all be able to hit tonight. I think they're a sneaky stack in DFS as well.
How about this next game coming up? So some interesting stuff. No late-night games tonight. The latest you're going to get is an 8:15 start, first pitch, East Coast time. Atlanta and St. Louis. Toussaint versus LeBlanc, a minus 114 to a minus 120 in the favor for the Atlanta Braves, who I do think are the better team. But it's funny because Toussaint comes up and just snaps up and goes against the Phillies. Against the Padres. Was dominant on the 20th of July. Then he goes against the Phillies and was absolutely flat out unhittable. 7 innings pitched, 10 earned runs, 10 strikeouts. So I'm like, man, this kid really has it together. This is going to be a big boon down the stretch. Then he goes up against Milwaukee, 3 1/3, gets lit for 7 earned runs. And you're saying to yourself, like, what am I getting out of these young kids? Really good or really bad? Well, the one thing you're getting out of Wade LeBlanc is just some random left-handed pitcher that's going to be on the mound today. 9s across the board, slight favorite to Atlanta. But just looking from pedigree, how far have the St. Louis Cardinals fallen where you thought, like, hey, they could win the division, they could make the playoffs, to pitching Lester, Happ, and LeBlanc, Jason, back to back to back. Welcome to baseball in 2021.
Yeah, look, Tucson, look, you guys hear the background.
Jason's beautiful lawn is getting a manicure today.
He's manscaping. It's actually he's manscaping right now.
It's been a long time since we got this on the show. But, yeah, look, 2.96 xFIP for Tukey in, I guess, those 3 starts. It was a bad one against Milwaukee. It was bad, but he still got 5 strikeouts, did allow those 2 home runs. And, that's not good. But, I think he still has potential. And, scouts still talk about him like he's got great potential and he's going to be a good player in the future. And, he's still a better pitcher than Wade LeBlanc ever will be. LeBlanc, 5.71 xFIP, 14.1% strikeouts, 8.2% walks in his last 30 days, not getting ground balls at a high rate, hard contact, high line drive near 30% of the time. And he's been bad against righties, 390 weighted OBA in his last 59 plate appearances against righties. In that lineup, you have mostly righties outside of Freeman, and I guess Jock Peterson will probably get the start today. Outside that, it'll be all righties in the lineup against LeBlanc, another lefty for the Cardinals. Just a weird situation for the Cardinals having 3 back-to-back-to-back lefties going against the Braves. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever when the Braves are going to have 7 righties in the lineup like every single game, maybe 6 righties in this one. So I still like the Braves here. I still think they got the job done offensively. Over the team total makes the most sense in this one.
Yeah, 3 older pitchers, 3 bad lefties, and again, I don't know how well over the last 30 days that the Atlanta Braves have actually hit left-handed pitching, but when you're looking from a position of a nice-looking lineup, The Braves have this again. Albies, Soler, Freeman, Riley, Swanson, Duvall, Peterson, and Smith. That's a good lineup to run out there. And you're right, it's going to be a lot of right-handed bats. And Wade LeBlanc, over the last 30 days, a 5.71 xFIP number. Certainly doesn't bode well because why? He walks just a little bit too many guys, and he doesn't strike anybody out, so the ball will be in play. Watch out for Soler. How about this statistic here, Kyle, for Jorge Soler? Over the last 30 days versus left-handed pitching, get this, an ISO power number of 0.9. Like 0.165 is very good, right? Very good. 0.9. And that's over 23 at-bats with a weighted on-base average of close to 600. He's raking. Do we continue tonight? Are the Atlanta Braves a play we should be looking at, Kyle?
You know it. My new favorite team's the St. Louis Cardinals. I love the Cardinals. Thank you so much for throwing out 3 left-handed, dare I say it, cans in a row. I don't want to jinx it too much. But it's just like the gift that keeps on giving, and there's jokes for that, probably inappropriate, so I'll leave it there. But love that Braves team total over 4.5. Obviously, Wade LeBlanc's last 5 starts against Atlanta. Here's these magical fantasy numbers he has. -9, -6, 1, 9, and 15. It weighted 901 3-year OPS. The Braves team total over 4.5. I absolutely love it. And someone was asking in the chat box, do you love these under strikeout props, which have been absolutely money? Wade LeBlanc. -3.5 strikeouts is at -105. That's a fantastic number. Wade LeBlanc has hit more than 3 strikeouts 1 time this year. He got to 5. To put that into perspective, he's had 0 strikeouts 4 times more this year than he's gotten over 3 strikeouts. So I feel we had a little scare with Happ last night. He got 3 strikeouts early, but then they cleaned it up and sorted it out. I'm doing the under 3.5 strikeouts for Wade LeBlanc -105. Atlanta Braves in DFS, stack them away. Might be a little bit chalky, but there should be runs tonight. I do think there's runs in this game. St. Louis can absolutely hit Touki Toussaint. So I think that number's a little low, 9s, 9.5s. I think there should be plenty of runs in this game. Love the Braves team total, love the Braves in DFS, and I like the under strikeout prop for Wade LeBlanc.
All right, value menu wagers on the card. Treated me very well last night. And look, even I was could go to sleep fast enough where the Dodgers took care of business right away and got that 4.5 runs, which was sensational stuff. Max Scherzer looked great on the mound. 10 Ks last night, was able to cash that in. I'm going to come back today. There was 2 games I liked on the card today. One was the Yankees, 4.5. A little bit expensive, though, at -160, but I'm going to flip it over as my value play. Toronto's team total over 4.5 at -140 at BetMGM. Tristan McKenzie looking at his last couple starts, coming back after an extended layoff back in, AAA. From June the 12th to July the 9th. Then he comes back on the 9th, has a great start, 7 innings, 0 runs, and 9 strikeouts. That turned into 4 innings, 5 earned runs, 6 innings, 2 earned runs, which is nice. But right back to it, the White Sox on the road got tuned up, 4 innings pitched, 6 earned runs. Now he goes back on the road today in a good hitting environment against a lot of good hitters. I think we get 5 runs today out of the Blue Jays. My value menu wager play today is going to be on the Toronto Blue Jays, and that is team total over 4.5. Jason, where's the value on your card tonight?
Yeah, I got 2 value plays. The first one we talked about earlier, the Yankees over 3 in the first 5. If it was a 2.5, I can get the juice at 2.5 at -135, like Caden in the chat said he had from his local book, it would have been official if we can get that 2.5 number. But on all the books in New Jersey and really anywhere I've looked, I'm seeing just 3 as the lowest number at +100. Via WinBet and PointsBet right now. So value play, Yankees over 3 in the first 5 on the team total. And the other play will be the Indians over 1.5 team total in the first 5 innings going up against Ross Stripling. You got to look at Stripling's numbers, 5.38 xFIP, striking out under 20% of batters, walking nearly 8% of batters, line drive percentage, 24%, ground ball percentage, just 32.6%, hard contact, 50%. His ISO power number from both sides, righties and lefties, both over 400. Weighted OBA, both over 420 from both righties and lefties in his last 37 plate appearances for the lefties and 26 plate appearances to righties. Also, strikeouts are really low to righties. Walks are really low to lefties. So he's just been a disaster from lefties and righties in the last 30 days. And, he got a little bit lucky in his last 2 outings. Against the Mets, allowed 1 earned run on 5 hits. And then against the Royals, 2 earned runs on 4 hits, but just had 1 strikeout in that game. A lot of balls were in play. And, the Indians, they have some guys that can do damage. Zimmer, 364 weighted OBA. Reyes, 0.383 weighted OBA, also 373 ISO. Perez, 233 ISO. there's guys in the order that can do damage. They should be able to score 2 runs against Stripling in the first 5 innings in this game. So, again, we're going to take that over 1.5 in the first 5 for the Indians as the team total. That would be another value play.
The Indians. Kyle, value on this Major League Baseball card. Where is it at?
Yeah. And let me answer a question in the chat box. Someone asked Jason, why do you always play first 5 team totals? The answer is very simple. You can isolate the information. You know the pitcher you're getting and you know the lineup you're getting. That's 9/10 of the ball game in baseball, because once it gets to the bullpen, you have no idea who's coming in. So when you can isolate.
And just to add, when you get when the starter is pitching, and if he comes out of the game and the bullpen comes in, you likely already won your wager. So you don't have to worry about that. Like, if the starter is pitching and you're going up against him and you think, all right, he's not going to pitch a quality start, and he lets up, 3 runs in the first 5 innings, or he leaves after 3 innings, you don't even have to worry about the bullpen or who's going to be coming in next. It's just going right after that starting pitcher. And once he's out, he probably already let up those 3 runs.
Yeah, and they're asking, where can I find those? Most books have them now, right? You're finding them almost everywhere.
Yeah, so you got DraftKings, WinBet, PointsBet. Those are the ones that I know in New Jersey are legal books. I also know that Bovada gives them out. I'm not totally sure on offshore, but I know that there's some offshore as well that you can find.
There you go. Bingo, bango, boingo. Channeling my inner Donnie, doing a little interview during the segment there. There we go.
I love the time off. I love it. So.
That's it. So for the value menu wager today, and there's a reason it's on the value menu, because it's steamed up to -160, but I got the Astros -0.5 in the first 5 innings. Look, you got Griffin Jacks on the mound for the Twins, 916 weighted 3-year OPS. When you look for Houston, Framber Valdez, a quality lefty, just pitched well against the Twins, 75 fantasy points combined in his last 2 starts, a 622 weighted 3-year OPS. It's the biggest disparity between 2 starting pitchers and their lineups. It's too steamed up to be a play of the day, obviously, but hey, try to get a few nuggets, throw a few bucks on it, -160. Astros should get the job done in the first 5 innings fairly easily. If the number was better, it would be my play of the day, but I love it on the value menu.
All right, value menu plays. And by the way, just surfing through as Kyle was talking to give me a nice little extended break here on the show. Thank you very much for that. The FanDuel Sportsbook has posted some new odds boosts here, so let's flip it down and get to the odds boosted section. After hitting an Anthony Rizzo odds boost at +160, went up in flames with the White Sox yesterday. So I'm looking to come back for a little bit more. And I usually play them a little bit later in the day, because the good thing about the odds boost, they don't go anywhere. The odds don't change. It's not like, hey, I got to get this in the minute it appears, because they're going to move and change conditions. I had lined up the Giants and the Astros to both win tonight at +160, which it's hard to win these. As you say, like -300s are going down daily here, it seems like, in Major League Baseball. But one just popped up while we were on the air for a few minutes. I'm going to bet this right now. Freddie Freeman and Nolan Arenado to each get a hit tonight, from -125 up to +120. Sign me up. Bad pitching in that game, all over the place. Let's wrap this up in the first inning. Nolan Arenado hot. Freddie Freeman, obviously not great through April, May, and June, but now absolutely on fire. My odds boost today: Freddie Freeman and Nolan Arenado to each record a hit tonight, and I'm playing it and logging in right now, boys. Take it away, Jason. What do you got on an odds boost today?
Yeah, look, so DraftKings, they have Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to record 2 hits and the Blue Jays to win. Now, again, I do like the Indians to score 2 runs against Stripling, but like Donnie said, we also like the Blue Jays to score plenty of runs against McKenzie in this game, and the Blue Jays are still the better team. So Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to record 2 hits and the Blue Jays to win, boosted from 275 to 330 on DraftKings. Now, Vladimir Guerrero, 364 ISO, 410 weighted OBA in his last 62 plate appearances against righties, only striking out 14.5% of the time, so you know the ball will be in play. McKenzie, like we talked about earlier, a 353 weighted OBA to righties, ISO of 366 to righties, and the ground ball rate is pretty low at 33.3%. So probably get some hits from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in this game, and then I think that the Blue Jays do end up winning this game later on in the game and score plenty of runs as well. So that +330, that'll be the boost for me on the day.
There you go, Kyle. Where are we boosting up? Take that rocket ship. Go ahead.
Well, first, I'm about to boost up because I didn't want to have to do this, and I don't like yelling at you guys, but 300 some people watching. 4 of you assholes decided to hit the thumbs down, and only 56 can hit the thumbs up. Hit the damn like button, for Christ's sakes. I don't know why I have to keep yelling at you guys. And to the 4, you get the hell out of here. Okay, so now let's move on to the odds boost.
Don't go anywhere.
Okay, or don't go anywhere. Stay here. Try to hit the dislike button again. Do whatever the hell you want. Okay, so let's jump here to the odds boost, and I'm going back to that Braves-Cardinals game. It's a little risky because, again, baseball's a game of failure, but DraftKings has it boosted up to, from 135 to 180, I believe. I'm forgetting the numbers for the Cardinals and the Braves combined over 2.5 hits in the first inning. Look, I just see both lineups hitting both of these pitchers. The top of that Cardinals order with Arenado, Goldschmidt, etc., should be able to get some hits off Toussaint. Of course, you all know how I feel about Wade LeBlanc tonight. I expect the Braves to get it done early. So over 2.5 hits boosted from plus 130 to plus 180. That's my odds boost today.
Yeah, we'll have some fun on these odds boosts, looking to pick up a little bit of dollars. And I like those ones particularly where, you move it a little bit like a favorite. Like you have two really good batters like Freddie Freeman and Nolan Arenado. Give me a little bit of a plus price. Don't give me the Dallas Cowboys to score the first touchdown and move it 10 cents. Like that's something. Do we even know who the quarterback's going to be at this point? No, we actually don't. So I'm going to keep on railing on that for as long as I can go today, at least till that game kicks off. Best bets on the Major League Baseball board. Let's get to it today. I do hate to disappoint out there, but I am abstaining from today. But there's no reason that we can't win money. Like the past couple nights, also hitting a best bet and bank for myself. Hit 2 straight on the value menu wagers. And I do think Toronto's going to hit tonight, and they should get their 5 runs because as you know what tomorrow is. Today's Thursday. You flip the calendar over. It's Friday. It's payday. I got you covered tomorrow. Don't you worry about that. Look for the radar signal, the bat signal early in the morning tomorrow because I'm going to get after it. Jason, what do you got today? Best bet and bankers on the card if you do have those, good sir.
Yeah, so, I didn't see anything in the MLB slate, so instead I went and took the Cowboys and put my entire mortgage on the Cowboys today. I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
I love it.
Wow.
No, he's not. Guys, I saw the ticket. He is not lying. He is not lying.
No, I had no play today. I was looking through the slate. It's a small slate, and I was going back and forth on a lot of different games and had a lot of different, went back and forth on a lot of different things and just wasn't seeing anything. So no plays for me. That's why I got 2 value plays instead. So we'll hit those and we'll go back tomorrow. And Friday is payday, like we always say, and we'll get the win tomorrow.
Yeah, I might have to go live on camera once DiNucci takes it. Because keep in mind, like my favorite thing about Ben DiNucci is he's probably only going to get some looks in the preseason. So I'm going to enjoy these 3 Cowboys games. But in the meantime, Kyle, best bets and bankers on your board tonight. What are you looking at tonight?
Hey, I'm a broken record. We're going back to it for day number 3. We've hit 2 in a row here. Let's go back to that Atlanta Braves team total over 4.5. I just don't see them not getting it against Wade LeBlanc. They should get to 3 or 4 relatively early. Then we just need 1 more. We got it last night. Let's go for it again today. And also, of course, the prop play. I like in that same vein, I like that under 3.5 strikeouts for Wade LeBlanc at minus 105.
All right, there you go. We can still cash in and make some money tomorrow. It's Friday. I'm pretty sure across the board we'll have some best bets and bankers that we can eat on for over the weekend. But let's get to the odds lightning round here and peruse the final games in Major League Baseball today. See if we left off anything that we can chew on and win some money. Let's get to 3:40 p.m. today, East Coast time, San Francisco and Arizona. Wood, the lefty on the mound versus Kelly. 170s offshore opening at Pinnacle, now down to 160. But how about this? Here in New Jersey, opened up at 158 as a favorite towards San Francisco, now sitting at 172. 9s across the board here. Are we looking at runs, Jason? Any thoughts on this game? Didn't really spend too much time going over this one as a whole. Do you think San Francisco's going to win? Sure we do. But any looks in this one from you, Jason?
Is the Arizona lineup out? Because I don't even know half of these players. I mean, you have Ellis, you have Hager. I know he was a Met, but I mean, this is just a terrible lineup for Arizona. I don't know. So obviously I like the Giants in this one.
It is released. It is released. Yeah. It's Ahmed, Marte, Kelly, Walker, Smith, Ellis, Hager, Varsho, and then of course this pitcher Kelly. So there you go.
I mean that
Keatow, baby.
If I had the puke emoji, I would post it right here. Really bad lineup, and the Diamondbacks are now going to go hit, 10 hits and a bunch of runs. But Merrill Kelly hasn't been good. 471 xFIP, striking out 17.5% of batters, allowing 48% of hard contact, and pretty bad against righties as of late in his last 77 plate appearances. You'll have Wright in there, you'll have Posey in there, you have Solano in there. But then you have a lot of lefties, so not much there for the Giants either. So stay away game for me. I still think the Giants are the better team. Wade's been really good as of late as a lefty against righties, so he can do some damage. Dickerson also has some power in there, as does Yastrzemski. So a lot more to like in that Giants lineup. Of course, they're a way better team.
All right, Philadelphia and Washington. Why not ride the hot streak here? Nola on the mound. So for the first time in a while, it seems like Philadelphia doesn't run out of tomato can out on the mound for a chance at victory. But the oddsmen aren't believing it here. How about a 167 opening here, Kyle, at Pinnacle, down to a 142 as a favorite towards the Phillies. Here in New Jersey, a 152, 8.5 across the board. I would not be surprised if Joe Ross has a couple good innings here against the Philadelphia Phillies, and you're staring at that 3 or 4, third or fourth inning by the time the Phillies get their first run. I hope that's not the case, just being a fan. But Nola is the better pitcher on the mound. The Phillies are the better team, but as always, late in the game, both of these bullpens stink, not just one or two. So maybe you wait this one out, this sixth inning. You're looking at, low team totals for both sides might be the way to play this, Kyle. What are you thinking tonight between the Phillies the afternoon action between the Phillies and the Nats?
Well, you're 100% right. So you don't even mess with those bullpens. If you're going to bet this, you do it in the first 5 innings. You have a massive pitching advantage. Aaron Nola is exponentially better than Joe Ross. When you look at the Phillies, too, just individually what they've done off of Joe Ross. JT Realmuto, 8 of 19 lifetime. Wonderful. Herrera, 3 of 12. Riz Hoskins, 2 of 7. I mean, really solid numbers up and down the order. And you're getting a minus 0.5 in the first. This was really close to being on my value menu or one of the plays of the day. I really like the Phillies in the first 5 innings on this. Getting a minus 0.5 in the first 5 at minus 115. I think that number is too short. I disagree with the line movement moving away from the Phillies. I like the Phillies quite a bit tonight. I think Nola gets it done. Washington struggles to score. Give me the Phillies minus 0.5 in the first 5.
Ooh, I like where you're going. Cleveland and Toronto here, Jason. 919, 920. McKenzie and Stripling on the mound. Not two pedigree pitchers, as we like to say. Another heavy favorite today for the Toronto Blue Jays. 188 across the board, 9.5, which actually opened at 10 offshore at Pinnacle and has dropped to a 9.5. Runs in this game, Jason. Again, quick thoughts on this game between the Indians, or should I say the Guardians, and the Blue Jays.
Yeah, look, I still like the over in this game. I think both teams end up scoring early in this game. Maybe the runs start to slow down later in the game, but early on, I do think we'll see plenty of runs. Again, we have McKenzie on the mound. He's been awful against righties. What do you have with the Blue Jays? A bunch of righties in the lineup, and Stripling. He's been awful no matter who's up at the plate in the last couple of starts. Even though his earned runs are low, he still hasn't been good pitching. That's why we use analytics to break it all down instead of just using ERA. I think we'll see a bunch of runs in this game. Again, my value play, Indians over 1.5 team total in the first 5 innings. Just need 2 runs against Stripling. Think that should hit. Odds boost also had Vladimir Guerrero to get 2 hits, and then the Blue Jays to also win the game. So even though I'm taking the Indians to score 2 runs in the first 5 innings, I still do think the Blue Jays end up winning this game as the heavy favorite, and I think Vladimir Guerrero will be one of the reasons why they do that.
Value in Will Crow today? Maybe. They're getting plus 205 at multiple outlets out here. 9.5 across the board. Now, look at Big Will over the past 2 games, though. Versus the Giants, 5 1/3, 2 earned. And also against the Philadelphia Phillies, stoning them. 6 innings, no earned runs, and only 1 hit allowed. So a hot Will Crow coming to town, Kyle. I know you're back in the Pirates today, right?
Oh, well, honest to God, if I was going to bet this game, it would be a dogger pass. I would take the underdog here. And now the Pirates always break my heart every time I try to get cute and take them as an underdog. They are plus 195 on the money line in the first 5 innings. It's hard to trust the Reds. Sonny Gray's okay, right? And he's had some wide range outcomes here recently. He's had a -5, a 17. He's also got 3 games in the 40s, in the high 40s. So he has the ability to blow through this lineup, but he also has the ability to get rocked. And then when you look at Will Crow, he has been better. Will Crow's been pretty solid at a couple 40-point outings. The Reds do profile beautifully. I will say that the team, their lineup profiles beautifully. I don't mind it in DFS. Too many unknowns for me to trust this too much, but if I was betting this game, maybe I live in Pittsburgh, maybe it's the only game I can watch, maybe I'm at the game, I would take a little sprinkle on the underdog and let the universe unfold as it should. I think it's a dogger pass situation, and I like the price on the Pirates.
921, 922, Kansas City and the Chicago White Sox. Battle of lefties here on the mound. Jason Lynch versus Keuchel. Heavy favorite for Keuchel here. And the White Sox, who got blasted yesterday, hovering around that $2 price range, 9.5 across the board. Take a look at Dallas Keuchel. Got, over his last 2 starts, 6 innings, 4 earned runs, 5 1/3, 5 earned runs. Not a great pitcher, and certainly not a strikeout pitcher tonight. Any luck here going back to the well with Kansas City, or is it just like, hey, sooner or later, White Sox are going to line up David Lynch as a lefty and just get after him tonight?
Yeah, look, FanDuel has an odds boost right now for Dallas Keuchel to record 2 strikeouts in the first 2 innings. And like you said, he's not a big strikeout guy, just 16.5% strikeouts in his last 30 days. But he'll go up against Salvador Perez, who's striking out 33.3% of the time in the last 30 days. He'll go up against Dozier, 34.8% strikeouts. He'll go against Taylor, 26.3% strikeouts, and Alberto, 31.3% strikeouts. Those are 1 through 7. So if one guy gets on base, he'll go up against Alberto as well. There's a chance he gets those strikeouts. Keuchel has been great, obviously. Against righties, 312 ISO, not really good. There's guys that can have power, for the Royals, 261 ISO for Perez. Alberto, those are really the two guys that have ISO power numbers against lefties. And then Lynch, he's hard to figure out. There's some games where like you think that maybe he's figured it out, maybe he's becoming a better prospect, and then there's other nights where he's just not very good. But really, he's faced mostly righties. 50 plate appearances against righties, 262 weighted OBA, and an ISO of just 104. So you don't really want to go up against Lynch either, although he's had his moments as well. Anderson, Hernandez, Abreu, Moncada, they've all have solid numbers against lefties. So, yeah, this is a tough one. I'm going to be staying away, but that Keuchel odds boost at plus 130 for 2 strikeouts, there's potential there, honestly.
And by the way, I disrespected Daniel Lynch by calling him David. So can't fault me for that one this time.
For the record, Salvador Perez 4 for 32 in his career off of Keuchel. That you don't see. Jeez. You don't see him that bad usually. It's one of the ones that pops up like, God, he really sucks against Dallas Keuchel. Just throwing it out there.
Big Sally. Mets in Miami 1-1 here, still in the 8th inning, 6-0 now. Detroit in the 5th inning over Boston, and 3-0 Los Angeles Angels over the Texas Rangers. Last game of the day that we're going to talk about tonight on the card, Jacks versus Valdez. That's Minnesota and Houston, a heavy favorite once again. Welcome to the haves and the have-nots here in August. Minus 255 to minus 260, depending where you're shopping at. 9s across the board. Jacks, to me, of eligible pitchers, the worst on the card. Took a look at a 6.41 ERA, Kyle, a 5.69 xFIP, and a Sierra over 5 as well. Disasters on the wall today. We'll see how Houston get after him, but Valdez on the opposite side. Not a great pitcher for Houston either. Better team, sure, Houston, but paying that price kind of steep.
Yeah, I mean, he's a solid lefty, Valdez is. I mean, he's not Wade LeBlanc. He's not John Lester or J.A. Happ. He's not one of those Cardinals big three, if you will. So, no, I like the Astros here. I do think the Astros team total is live over 5.5 at minus 105. I think that's a nice price there. The Astros should be able to rake tonight. As I said, it's the biggest disparity between starting pitchers in terms of weighted OPS in a 3-year sample size. Astros should be able to score. Of course, it's steamed up quite a bit. That's why it's on the value menu. Minus 0.5 in the first 5 at minus 160. Astros should score early and often, and I do think Valdez can get through this Twins lineup. I mean, Donaldson and Sano, a couple of righties that could maybe give him some trouble, but really, are we all that concerned about the Twins lineup? No. I like the Astros minus 0.5 in the first 5.
All right, boys, nice little short Major League Baseball card here on a Thursday. Plays are out there, and if in case you forgot, you don't know what it is, like Kyle probably doesn't remember his plays, this is why we even do it for our guys on the show. We like to recap and clear the bases to let you guys know exactly what we are on today. I don't have a best bet and banker, but I have already placed a wager on the Toronto Blue Jays team total over 4.5 at BetMGM. That was at minus 140, and live on the air, and I just saw an odds boost that I really liked on the FanDuel Sportsbook, and I rode that one out as well. To each get a base hit, Freddie Freeman and Nolan Arenado boosted up to over from minus to plus 120. I like that. I'll be digging on that tonight. Jason, what are we looking at tonight from you on your card?
Yeah, so for just value plays, no official plays, just value. Yankees over 3 in the first 5 on the team total. And then also the Indians over 1.5 in the first 5 on the team total. And of course, the odds boost, we're going with Vladimir Guerrero to record 2 hits, and then the Blue Jays to also win the game at plus 330 on DraftKings.
There you go. Kyle, what do you have tonight? Wrap it up for us.
Okay, let's remember. Play of the day. Braves team total over 4.5 minus 125 against Wade LeBlanc, the lefty. In that same vein, I also like Wade LeBlanc under 3.5 strikeouts at minus 105, a number he's only hit once all year. On the value menu, Astros minus 0.5 in the first 5, minus 160. Some home run props that we like today. Here's the list of players. Kyle Seager out there against the Yankees. I like it. Anthony Alonso, that game's already going on. Joe Mata, and of course, Donnie's always on my list, but that game's always also going on as well. So for the games coming up, Seager, Rizzo, and Votto, I think, are 3 options tonight on those home run props.
All right, there we go. Thank you for that information, Kyle, as we crisscross across the board. And yes, we are all S's at one point on that screen, so don't adjust your system. We are back and ready to go, but this ends the Major League Baseball show for Thursday. Got an NFL show coming up in about an hour. We're going to take a look at that exciting, action-packed Ben DiNucci game tonight between the Cowboys and the Steelers, so tune in at 4 o'clock. But we will be back tomorrow. Fridays are what we do around here on sportsbookreview.com, and that includes the Major League Baseball show, where, as always, Friday is payday. Thanks for tuning in, guys, for all the love and support that you give out us. Well over 300 people watching throughout the entire show. I'm Donnie Seymour for Jason Radowitz and Kyle Purviance. We are the sportsbookreview.com Major League Baseball team. And as always, good luck on those wagers tonight.